What's up, YouTube? It's the Console Samurai with Grownups Gaming. And now that we know that there is a PlayStation 4 Slim coming out later this year, actually in less than a month, and we know about the Xbox One Slim for this year, and looking to the future, we know about the PlayStation 4 Neo and Xbox One Scorpio. How long until we hear about the end, an official announcement about the end of console generations? When I say that, I don't mean that there's not going to be another PlayStation. I don't mean that there's not going to be an Xbox, although there might not be if the PC convergence keeps going, which is a whole different issue. What I'm talking about is the end of clearly defined console generations. Excuse me. And this is something I've actually talked about in a previous video, but as gamers, we're very familiar with the idea of a console generation. I'm going to use PlayStation 1 as my example. Any game released on PlayStation worked on all versions of the hardware. A game released on launch day worked on the very last piece of hardware for PlayStation, and vice versa. The most complicated game on all of PlayStation 1's library worked on all versions of the hardware, even the first ones off the assembly line. It's very easy to wrap your head around, as I said, and it worked on all generations. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4 up to this point, Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One to this point, Nintendo's consoles, Sega's consoles, so on and so on and so on. It's the way gaming has always been from day one. It's what we're familiar with. Of course, with the few expansion pack kind of thing, like the RAM pack on Nintendo 64, which was one thing. That was a slight divergence. However, it does look like gaming consoles are going in the way of mobile phones. Because if you look at mobile phones, particularly iPhone 6, I'm going to use iPhone 6 as my example for this. The iPhone 6 has 3 different models within it. There's the original 6, the 6S, and the 6 Plus. Now, there's really no huge difference between them. They're all very minor updates between them, slightly more powerful hardware, but for the most part, they are all the same thing. And that looks very much like what PlayStation and Xbox are doing. Now, the difference here, if everything that they've been saying is true, is that it's not going to follow the same thing, where the iPhone 6 Plus is going to have software that is only supported on the Plus. It's not supported on the original. Both Xbox and PlayStation have both said that's not going to happen with this. These upgrades are just hardware upgrades. They're not going to cause a divide where, for instance, the Neo and the Scorpio are going to have games that are not going to work on the original launch versions of their consoles. They're just going to be better. They're going to be better equipped to be able to handle the games that we have, which I'm hoping will be very true. In the case of the Slim, particularly PlayStation Slim, there's really no change at all. It's just a smaller version. At least the Xbox One Slim is supposed to have some kind of better update. It's supposed to have 4K gaming and Ultra HD. I've heard some rumors that maybe that doesn't quite work like they claim it does. But the Neo and the Scorpio are supposed to be much better equipped to handle the games we have now and cut down load times. It's supposed to look much better, but it's not supposed to cause any kind of gameplay changes at all. As I said, I'm hoping that's true, because if not, the downside to that whole thing is that there could be games that are not compatible on launch, or not compatible on the launch versions of the console, simply because the newer hardware is able to handle a higher version of the firmware, and then games would require a certain version of the software very similar to what we see on PC. Which, I know a lot of PC gamers are probably watching my video going, well, that's why you shouldn't play consoles, you should just play PC. I'm not trying to cause any fanboyism here at all. But what do you think? What do you think about consoles going this way? That they're going to have these small incremental updates that kind of amount to nothing, but do actually have slight advantages, but actually cost a couple $100 to possibly $1,000 more than what we have now. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Once again, I'm the Console Samurai, and I'll see you around.